I'm going to be so rusty. I've not done this for like 3 episodes.
Yeah, we noticed. My favorite comment in our last episode was TJ talking about something you were working on. You guys remember Jensen, right? He used to be on our podcast.
I mean, getting one of those weird things in my throat. It's like, I know if I speak, I'll be like, hello. This one is one of those rare episodes. No, it's not. What have you been up to apart from Battlefield 6 and Diablo?
I don't know what I miss.
We've just done
so
we're just going round the intro.
I feel so unprofessional right now.
Tell all the listeners who you are, when you started modeling, how old you are. Sorry.
That's okay.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to episode 29 of the Plastic Posse. And to quote Bing Crosby, happy holidays. The Posse is brought to you by our wonderful sponsors, Micro World Games, Tankcraft, Tamiya USA, Bases by Bill, and AK Interactive. Also, to all our amazing Patreon supporters, a big thank you for making this all possible. We appreciate your support. I was going to say, this is one of those rare episodes when everyone's here, but we are missing JB and TJ. Both swamped and snowed under. So today we just have myself, Jensen, we have Scott, we have Grant, and we have a special guest, Mr. Evan McCallum, aka Panzermeister36. And we're going to go around the room now and just see what everyone has been up to for the past couple of weeks. Won't start with myself because that will be self-indulgent and I've done nothing. So let's start with Scott.
Thanks, Jensen. And Evan, thanks for joining us. We're glad to finally have you here.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, I have been very, very busy with work. It seems like since we got back from Europe, I have been really slammed. We've landed a couple of new clients, which is really exciting for my business. So that's really great. As far as on the bench and related, the Rocky Mountain Expo will have some new announcements very, very soon. We're very excited about that. The show's going to, I think, take a huge step up. So anybody that's planning on coming over to that, I think you're going to really, really like what we have planned for 2026. We'll be talking about that soon. Of course, holiday parties, all those things have had their way with some of my time, but that's terrific. It's a great season. On the bench, I've been productive as well, still working on that little Flyhawk SPD Dauntless that I started that we talked about last time. Wonderful little kit, really thoughtful engineering. I am a huge Flyhawk fan, but even though this is a little 1/72nd scale aircraft, this is not a slammer in any sense of the word. The kit is very purposefully designed to preserve a lot of really nice, fine detail, but you've got to be really mindful about how you do things and when you do things. Even things as simple as putting the fuselage together and then filling that seam, because the kit has a combination of recessed and raised rivets like the actual aircraft does, which is very rare in 72nd scale. You've got to be really careful about how you fill your seams, using a lot of the, trick where you put the Tamiya surface primer in the seam and then you actually use a Q-tip with some lacquer thinner on it rather than any mechanical sanding, because if you sand anything, you're just going to wipe out all kinds of rivets, things like that. And then also the sequence of how it goes together. So wonderful kit, really, really nice. Highly recommended to anybody who likes the SPD. My version is the SPD3 Battle of Midway and has markings, I think I mentioned last time, has markings for every Dauntless that flew off Enterprise, Lexington, and Hornet in the Battle of Midway. So lots of choices there. So anyway, yeah, that's what I've been doing.
Very nice, very productive. And yeah, a bit like you say, post-Europe, everyone seems to have just been suddenly swamped. I think obviously that time away from work, it's all the catch-up that follows and then regular work afterwards. But yeah, very interesting. We were discussing before I started recording, those Flyhawk kits tend to be like very, very high level for 1/72nd. The ships as well look really good. So I'm going to be keeping my eye out for them for sure.
Yeah, very nice.
Grant, how about yourself?
I'm doing well. I've been working on a few odds and ends, just something to keep going. Besides spending a whole lot of money on Black Friday sales, seem to be sponsoring Andy's and Sprue Brothers' children their college degrees. Other than that, I have finished or started working on another scratch built spaceship just for fun, just for something to do over the holidays. I also have the Tamaya Archer, which it's crying for me to start. Archer is a beautiful vehicle. I don't care what anybody says, they're wrong. It's such a neat design for me, the way it just kind of speeds off and the gun faces the other way. I really think it's kind of cool. Plus, it's built on a Valentine chassis, so you got to love it. Other than that, I think the same with everybody else. I've been working real hard. Work's been real crazy, getting back in the rhythm and everything. Parties, Christmas parties, and throwing a couple birthday parties there for the family. So it's been a little bit crazy around here. So hopefully after Christmas, I'll take 2 weeks off and try and get on the table and do some fun. But until then, it's going to be a little bit crazy.
Very nice. Do you like your scratch built space stuff? And I said spaceships.
Oh, thank you.
But, no, yeah, very good. Yeah, and hopefully you enjoy that 2 weeks off after the festive period and recharge the batteries.
Yeah, that's going to be a blast. I can't wait.
Evan, how about yourself? What have you been up to? Tell us everything.
I had a bit of a busy year, not for the same reasons as you guys, but people follow me on Facebook. No, I recently got married, and before that bought a house. So I took most of the beginning of the year off making videos, but now I'm back to that, and I have a big backlog of things, films that I need to edit. So I should be good. My usual thing where I upload about a video a month, and I've got a lot of things I'm working on. Of course, I usually have literally 6 projects on the go in various stages of building and painting and weathering. Right now, actually, one thing I'm working on that I started recently as just supposed to be like a slammer build or like a relaxation build, but I knew it wasn't going to be that because my project was the E25 trumpeter, same kit that Scott built for SMC. I was just looking for, you're craving like an easy, more basic kit, and then I knew I had that in the stash, and Scott was talking about that on the episode. I was like, yeah, this sounds like it'd be pretty easy, it'd be fun to detail up, and I'm working on that a lot. The build is now completely finished. I'll post a Posse group when this episode drops. Just need the aftermarket tracks for it, but it looks really good, and I was lucky in that my kit wasn't horribly warped like Scott's was, so I only had to buy one kit to assemble it. And then I spent a lot of time, because the kit is very basic, I spent a lot of time on the detailing, doing a lot of 3D printed accessories, and I did some steel texture, which I don't often do because I feel, in my opinion, that they're very overdone on models these days, but I tried to have some fun there because it does add a nice look to the vehicle, especially if it's more basic like E25. And then I also soldered some footwatch fenders, which is a skill I'm trying to build a lot recently. Oh my God, look who just showed up.
Whoa.
I'm going to predict it. Passed out on the couch playing Diablo.
Somewhere in between Battlefield 6 and Diablo 4, right? Yeah. But yeah, but I like, it looks like your particular kit of the E25 was a lot nicer than any of mine. Looks pretty straight and true, and love the decisions you're making on yours.
It was heavily inspired by, first of all, just hearing you do it, of course, because I was like, oh yeah, that'd be a fun project. I've got that in the stash. Private discussions there, just talking about how you went forward with detailing it, improving the level of details. So that inspired me somewhat, though I ended up with a little bit of different configuration. I didn't want to steal your thunder there. I'm not going to paint it the same camouflage. That'd be mean. But I liked your idea of the fasteners on the roof as well. So I definitely stole that idea from mine. You're right. That's a detail that it's been hit.
Yeah, for sure. I like where it's going.
Thank you.
No, I'm looking forward to seeing that video. Well, I was going to go to me next, but we've been very kindly joined by the one and only TJ. TJ, how are you doing? Have you just woken up?
No, I've been sitting at my desk for 45 minutes wondering what the f- was going on. I'm like, are we not recording today? Because I didn't see the link that Scott sent at 9:30. I saw you asking me a question. I'm like, what does that even mean, Jensen? Like, what are you talking about? I'm sitting here waiting. Didn't hear anything. I'm like, all right, well, I guess I'll just watch some YouTube videos and pet my cat. And then finally I'm like, are we recording today or what? You're like, yeah, we're doing it right now. I'm glad I knew.
So I was like, he's going to be asleep on his couch with a controller in his hands
asleep?
mid-Diablo. Well,
10 o'clock in the morning. I've been up for hours. What do you mean asleep?
Well, the typical dad, old man thing where it's just like, I work late shifts and long shifts and then just passes out.
It's Sunday, dude.
The day of rest. Anyway, welcome. What have you been up to this past 2 weeks?
Not a whole lot. I don't really have a whole lot of updates. I built one kit and it's not done yet.
So he's not built one kit.
Shut up. It's done. I took a picture of it. The Gucker.
Oh, yeah.
The Machining Krieger kit, which means peeper in German. I think it's because it's like got recon capabilities. I don't know. It's cool. Yeah, I don't know. I haven't been doing a whole lot other than, as you mentioned, playing video games.
So how is the Paladin?
Oh, so yeah. For the uninitiated, I've been playing a lot of Battlefield 6, which is okay. And then Friday, well, I guess like super late Thursday night, because I guess there's like the Game Awards or something was happening. So like Blizzard they were supposed to launch it season 11 in D4, but they were like, everyone kind of feared like, oh, why isn't it launching at normal time? Well, it's because they got a big announcement. And that announcement was the new expansion, which comes out in 4 months. But then they also like, surprise, here's the Paladin. So I'm like, I got home Friday from my Christmas party, my work Christmas party, where I won a TV. I won a freaking TV, a 50-inch TV, which is good because I need a new one for my bedroom. I was like, well, I guess I'll start playing D4 again. And yeah, I've got like 13 hours of playtime since Friday night. So yeah, that's what I've been doing. The Paladin is awesome.
Sweet.
If anyone's played D2, it's very much like the Paladin from D2. A lot of the same abilities. You can be a hammered in, the spinning hammers all around you. I think they kind of prioritize like sword and board gameplay. I think it's better. You can use two-handers too, which is sweet, but I'm a sword and board Paladin guy. That's what Paladins are like my favorite class in any kind of fantasy setting. I love Holy Warriors. It's something about it I just love. And my Paladin's sweet. So yeah, it's really good. And Battlefield 6 is okay. I'm too old for that game. I'm not as good as I used to be.
The last episode was the Plastic Plane podcast, and this episode the Plastic Video Game podcast. Or Video Game podcast.
Well, so I was telling Ken Childress actually, like, it's hard because it's been really cold in the DC area, like way colder than it normally is. Unlike the last almost 4 or 5 years, I'm working outside in wintertime, and it freaking sucks. And anyone that does any kind of like physical labor in the cold knows it's like super fatiguing. Even doesn't matter how much sleep you get, and I get a pretty good amount of sleep every night, but it just like wears your ass out. So, and then here for the last week, I've been working much further away from my house, so I got to drive almost 2 hours to get home. So the combination of getting up early, working in the cold in wind, it's been really windy too, and then driving home for almost 2 hours. I don't get home till like 4 o'clock, and by the time I take a hot shower and like actually sit down, it's like almost 5 o'clock. And I'm just like, I'd rather just like kill brain cells and watch, and play video games than actually sit down at my bench and work. So
honestly, like, can't judge you for that. I know we had a joke about this on JB's post on Facebook where he was like, "Oh, going to be productive," and I was like, "Oh yeah, hopefully me too." You're like, "No, JB has an excuse to not be productive though." It's like true, but like I know what you mean, and weirdly, I've been speaking to my mum about this, and anyone who'll listen. I used to absolutely love winter, this time of year, Christmas, all that. I just don't anymore. I've just noticed these short days and cold just make me really non-productive. I'm not going to call it sad. Oh, you got seasonal affective disorder, but it's that. The short days and stuff, I just don't want to do anything. I do nothing all day, but at night I don't want to do anything. I just don't want to do stuff. I just don't want to live. I just need to hibernate through the winter and wake up in spring.
So you're doing nothing goes to a pro level at night.
Exactly. I go from doing nothing all day to like deluxe edition at night of like metal case collector's box nothingness. Like the most I do at the minute is play D&D and play Ark Survival Ascended. Like literally the only things I'm doing. And it's annoying because throughout the day and when I'm in bed at night, I'm thinking of all these projects I want to do. Here we go, ladies and gentlemen. I will return to modeling. But I'm thinking of all this stuff I want to do, and I'm thinking of stuff for Patreon. I'm thinking of projects I want to do. I was talking to Zach and Jackson the other night about how we're thinking of another buddy build that we need to actually stick to, and we know how well they go. But I was like, you know what? No, I'm actually doing this. I've been asking around for like the best Panther G, like TAC and Riffield, all that stuff.
That you'll never build.
That'll start, and that's as far as I'll go. I'll start 3D printing all my stuff for it, realizing 3D printing is really messy and annoying, and then just not bother. No, but I've got all the stuff, the files, everything I need to like absolute deck out this what if Panther G with a cast turret. It's hideous. It truly is ugly. But, is it Operation Poseidon? Like, where the Panthers landed in Britain? and it's got a like Kriegsmarine camo on it. It looks really dumb, but it's different. So I want to do it because I as much as I love Dunkelgelb and Tritones and all that, I'm just like, let's make a Panther G as not Panther G as possible. So I have everything Faustus makes ready, sliced, all ready to go on the printer. But I do this thing where I, rather than actually do what I'm supposed to, I'll distract myself by doing I'm not supposed to. Like, oh, I should put this stuff on the 3D printer. Let's spend all night looking for a new 3D printer that I don't need. So I spent an entire day yesterday looking for the Elegoo Saturn 4 16K thing with camera and all that. I'm like, oh yeah, that'll be fun to leave on my desk like my current Anycubic 6K one currently is doing nothing. But again, got all these ideas, not actually doing any of them. But stuff I have done, I took possession of a wonderful new book, 148th Luftwaffe Modeling Workbook. But I know his name, obviously. I just never know how to pronounce his surname, and I don't want to butcher it. Oliver Piesel, Earl of Work on Facebook, has released a book, and it is amazing. So I've been reading that a lot. It gives me, anyone who likes the FAQ books, it's similar to that with how clear and step by step it is, and that's what I love about it. It's not like, here's the model painted, here's it finished, and here's a vague description of how I got there. It's very good step by step, and it features a lot of his work, and it's just great. So if you can pick one of those up, I know you can get it from the 48 is in Europe. You can get it from Luftshop in Canada, North America.
Yeah,
you can get it for North America and Canada, I believe. And I know you can get it in Asia as well. But basically, everywhere in the map is covered. We'll ship it somewhere. Great little book. I say great little book. It's a chunky book, actually. So I took possession of that, and that is it. That is all I've done, apart from going back to stuff. I play a paladin in D&D. So I completely get that. I love playing Paladin. We've renamed my character Logan Paladin because he doesn't have a surname, so that's his name now. That's what I've been up to in a very long, drawn out affair. But yeah, let's have a go around now, and I want to see what since some of our productivity has been a bit low, let's focus on some of the productivity of members of our group. So going around the Plastic Posse page, everyone's been really productive. It's great. These winter months can be really good for a lot of people in the hobby, and it's great to see people pumping work out. So I won't start with TJ because he's unprepared. You know what? We'll start with Evan. What caught your eye in the Plastic Posse this week?
Oh, if I'm going first, that means I can steal the one that Scott stole from me. No, I'm gonna go with I think it's Rafael Parente's Yag Tiger L66. He's doing it in kind of like a red primer style. Also, it's I believe it's the L66 is the right caliber length. It's like those long guns. It was a concept, but an even bigger gun in the Yag Tiger because I guess the massive 128 millimeter gun in there wasn't big enough. They wanted to put even longer barrel on it. Then it was going to have trouble going through streets, so they made this mechanism to retract the gun into an extension on the rear of the superstructure that hangs out over the engine deck. It's very bizarre and looks like, the usual German thing where you're like, why are you even considering this as this makes no sense, but big gun. Okay, I guess that makes sense. But yeah, it's a very cool subject, and I do love the red primer look he's going on. He's achieving on it, and also he was just talking about or posting about doing kind of an Adam Wilder style earth effect using something I never considered, which is the AK Snow micro balloons to add texture into the pigments and earth effects, which is actually a really good idea because I find a lot of pigment case have texture that is way too big. It looks like stones, like little cobblestones packed up in the suspension. It doesn't quite look right, but the AK micro balloons are very, very fine because they actually look like snow. So it's actually very conducive to making a realistic texture in scale. So I am going to be, I'm not going to say stealing, but inspired by this technique in the future for sure, because that's a great idea. And Raphael, the model, is looking excellent.
I really like his approach, like you said, on that. Like you said, the 128 millimeter gun wasn't big enough. It kind of makes you wonder, what they built the vehicle, or thought of the concept for that vehicle to, what were you afraid of? Because the 128 millimeter, I think, got the job done. I mean, I guess we could have mounted a Dora gun maybe on a tank chassis at some point, right?
Yeah, no, it's interesting. I think I'm not sure how, just kind of my thoughts and based on some books I've read, but the Germans, first encountered things like the T-34, and they realized their tanks were, the guns on their tanks in 1941 were insufficient, even if France too with the Char B1. They very quickly started upgunning their tanks, and it seems like later in the war they were trying to pre-upgun their tanks in case something bigger came along. but they kind of went a little too far because I don't know. Like when you build a tank that's gun is so long, like first of all, it's a fixed gun, right? You can't go through streets. You have to have the gun like sticking out the back of the tank, just like retract it and make any sense. This seems like just a mess, but cool subject, and it adds a unique twist to the Yag Tiger. I do have a conversion kit of that from before the TACOM kit came out, so that's something that I want to build someday because it is quite bizarre.
It is. You know what? I didn't realize that box on the back here was for that feature. I thought it was just a big cupboard. Like, I thought it was just storage. It's like, oh, that's what it's
look
for.
Like it.
Yeah, it's like,
big cabinet doors on the back.
Yeah, I was like, oh, that's for retractor. That makes sense now, rather than just let's just put a big cupboard on the back for storage. Okay, Scott, what caught your eye?
I'm going to give a shout out to Doc, model Doc Jonathan Anderson. He's been working on a Berga Panzer III, and these Berga Panzers give you a lot of opportunity to really fill the interior part up. This is one of the Berga Panzers that have the, the wooden superstructure sort of on top of the hull. And he's really taken a lot of time, on this build to, do the gantry crane and the chains and, all those kind of things. And then little boxes of tools. And it's just really, really cool. And I've always liked the Panzer III chassis because it's really balanced. It's got that, Daimler-Benz Panzer III chassis that just looks really neat and precise, and I just really like it. So great job, Doc. Keep up the good work, and really like how that's coming together.
Yeah, I love that piece.
Luckily for him, I was able to explain to him how a chainfall works because he was very confused. Did not understand.
Can't wait for him to mess it up with paint. No, it does look good. Like even out of it's like that's damn fine. It's a lot more work than I could be asked with because it's just complete multimedia, and it's used like lots of mini R stuff, metal, wood, resin. It's just so much, and it's like I said, the Panzer III chassis. I think anything model of the Panzer III chassis is just a cool build. But yeah, Mr. Grant Mayberry, what did you like the look of?
Besides the kitchen cabinet on the back of the tiger is pretty cool. But I'm
the
going to
wardrobe.
Go with that's where they hold the beer for Oktoberfest for the Germans. So I'm going to go with Spud, John Murphy's really beautiful 1/16 scale Andes Tiger. He's doing a fantastic job on it. Just the work alone he posted something today on the rear deck of it. He's redone all the welds on it. It's just going to be a beautiful kit. He says he's almost, he might be done, he said, with all the construction now, but he said how fast it was pretty crazy, but it's beautiful. It's going to be amazing. I can't wait to see it, but it's what he does with 1/16 scale. It's amazing.
Yes, it is. TJ, what did you see on the page?
So I'm going to choose Martin Hulse DH88 Comet, the 76 scale clear prop model. I got a real soft spot for these like 1930s, 1920s racers. I don't know, something about like that whole era of aviation I just love, and all those like racing airplanes just look so cool just because they're all like long and sleek, and I mean they're designed to fly fast. So yeah, it was really cool. I think he did a really good job. Yeah, it was awesome.
That was a good pick, that one. I did like that one, because I know there was a brief moment of time he was really unhappy with the finish, like really orangey peel effect at some point, and he's done a really good job at like really getting through that. It's like really smooth and sleek, and yeah, it's a cracking build, that.
He does a really nice job on those aircraft, and yeah, it's like TJ said, it's a really, really beautiful aircraft prototype to begin with, but Martin's really done a great job with it.
Mm-hmm. And he displays them nicely as well. His bases are always top-notch. Okay, for myself, I had to pick Sammy Pearson's Stull G33B. Speaking of things modelled on Panzer III chassis, this is really nice. It's a bigger, boxier Stug with a fat, chody gun. He's textured it beautifully. I mean, it sounds obtuse, but that's the only way I can describe it. Like, again, like gone to town and it redone all the welds with like I'm assuming it's the green stuff because it's green. He redone the welds, flame cut marks. He's put very subtle, a bit like Evan said, don't want to do texture on everything, but the texture looks really nice and subtle. From what I can assume, it looks like he's modeled off a Dragon kit, the base kit. But just honestly really nice. Resin stowage all over it. It's like, it's one of those builds, as I describe it, almost ashamed to paint because of how cool it looks just naked. And it's like, here's all the work I've done in it, and you can see it. And it just looks great. Like, it's got the winter kit and tracks on it, metal. It looks heavy. That's what I like about the model. It looks like a heavy model. yeah, really, really like that. So Sammy's done a great job on that. Yeah.
Point of order, your lordship, will you yield the floor?
The gentleman will yield.
How does one spell chody?
Chodey. We're going to trademark that. It's going to be on a T-shirt next time you see us. That's not my nickname. I'm not owning that one, though.
Yeah, in all seriousness, though, Sammy, great job. Really, really good looking model coming together really nicely. So, like where that's going as well.
Yeah, top notch.
Friends, you know Bases by Bill as the place to find one-man army paint masks, and now there are even more to choose from. The newest releases include the Kotare Messerschmitt BF 109K4 set, along with 14 other fresh additions, all available now and all with free shipping. The entire range covers over 80 sets for aircraft and armor. When your project's complete, show it off with a display base. Choose from Japanese and U.S. carrier decks, spanning naval aviation from the 1930s through today, or airfield-style bases, perfect for any aircraft. And for something truly special, Bases by Bill creates custom hardwood bases with engraved or full-color placards, unit emblems, and national insignia, the perfect finishing touch for your next showpiece. Visit basesbybill.com, because there's always something new at Bases by Bill.
Okay then, folks, I'm going to lead us into our first discussion point, which is, it may sound a little bit atypical for this time of the year. It is our last episode of the year, that is. So I'm going to really kind of go around, and I want everyone to round up the year, the best moments, proudest moments. Did you achieve what you wanted to from last year? Do you have any regrets from last year? And your hopes and wishes for the year that comes. So, going to be nice and casual. But yeah, you know what, TJ, we'll start with you. Kind of round up your year, like your proudest moment, like regrets, all that stuff. You know, your year in review.
Well, yeah, I don't know. That's I guess the proudest thing of the year is I'm proud that I finished that knocked out tank. I've never done one before, and I know I've mentioned it numerous times. Like I feel like a well done knocked out vehicle is like one of the hardest things to do. It's like it's up there with at least, I mean, probably in aircraft modeling too, but at least in armor modeling, to me, that's like the peak. Like if you can do a convincing knocked out tank, then you can probably pretty much do anything, right? So yeah, I was really proud of myself. I think it turned out really, really well. Obviously, it didn't do as well at the comp as I would have liked, but you know, here we are. I don't have any control over that. But as a piece of work, I was very, very happy with it, and I was very proud of it. I feel like it's probably one of the best things I've ever done, if not the best thing I've ever done. Yeah, as far as like regretting anything, not really. I wish I had got more done this year. I know we mentioned it last episode. I had 3 models done. I got a 4th that's like kind of ready. I mean, I could probably finish it if I really, really wanted to. A Firefly that I built this year. It just needs to be weathered. Everything else is done. I could probably spend a weekend or a week weathering it and it'd be ready to go. I just don't really feel like it. Yeah, I don't know. It was a kind of an off year for me. You know, I had to switch jobs, which I wasn't too keen about. And, well, I didn't like my old boss, so that part didn't bother me, but I liked what I did. I had to go back to what I used to do, which I did not want to do. So that kind of affected, my whole outlook, taking a step back from where I came from. But yeah, I mean, good trips and good friends. And so, yeah, I mean, it was a banner year, really. Yeah. Hopefully that's what you're looking for. I don't know. I was kind of like looking into the middle distance as I was like reminiscing on all this. Yeah. And, I mean, I see right here, it says hopes and wishes for the coming year ahead. Lame. I'm just kidding. Yeah, I don't know. I don't really have any goals for next year. Just keep doing what I do, I guess, and try to get better at it. I definitely want to do more aircraft. I want to do big aircraft because I haven't done one before. And yeah, that's pretty much it. I don't know. I'm in a little interesting place in the hobby right now. It's, I don't know, kind of hard to explain, but yeah, I'm just going to keep on keeping on.
Yeah. I could, you know what? I'm going to channel my inner Aaron Cook here and be like, your hopes and wishes for next year could be to build a good model for once.
I'd like to, at least once. I feel like maybe I can get there next year.
No, it's like you say, like, it's kind of hard to make wishes and like plans for a whole year ahead because you don't know what's going to come around the corner. Like anything could happen. So like you say, just keep doing what I do and that will produce fruit.
I mean,
so philosophical.
My plans are pretty standard, I think. I'm planning on going to SMC. I'm trying to go to the Miniature Painting Open in Bristol in May. That's probably sitting right now, probably like a 90% chance I'll go to that. Luther Davies asked me if I was going to go. I don't know if anyone remembers Luther. He's a really good figure painter. We interviewed him 4 years ago. It was a long time ago, and we've maintained contact since then. We've missed each other at various shows. He's been at SMC when I was there too. We didn't know until after the fact. He couldn't make it this year, and he reached out to me and said, "Hey, do you have any plans on going?" I'm like, "Well, I didn't, but I kind of do now." And so I talked to my wife, and I'm like, "Hey, how do you feel about going to England in May for like 4 days?" Obviously, she's not interested in the show, so we're probably gonna work something out. Probably gonna go to Dublin first for a couple days, and then bounce over to Bristol because it's like $50 to fly there. Damn you Europeans and your cheap airfare!
Oh, that's great.
So nice. I was like looking at flights. I'm like, 35 euros? Okay, hell yeah. For like a decent time too. Like I don't have to wake up in the middle of the night to get there. Like I can get there at a normal time. So I was like, yeah, hell yeah, let's do that. I've never been to Bristol, so that'll be cool. I've never been to that any of that area of the UK. So I've never been to Ireland either. So I'm kind of excited about that. So yeah, that's really my only plans. And just build more models, build better models.
No, they're good plans. And that show in Bristol, since you're going, it turns out I'm also going because you're making me. And I have no excuse, really. It's only, I say it's down the road. It's like 5 hours down the road, but it's still down the road.
Is that a 5-hour train ride?
No, it's like, if I was driving, it's one of the, our motorways are crap. The M65 and the M6 has always got roadworks on. If I was driving, it'd be about six. Not that I drive. If my chauffeur was driving, it'd be about 6 hours. On a train, we're probably talking about like 2 hours or something.
Oh, that's not bad. Yeah, so I guess I should probably paint some figures to take there. They have normal scale modeling too. It's not just figures and stuff, but it's run by the Cult of Paint guys, and I love their YouTube channels.
Yeah, they're great.
I think this will be the second in-person one they're doing. Maybe the third. I can't remember. It started as like an online comp a couple years ago, 3 years ago. And they've expanded into like an actual in-person show. So it'd be pretty cool. Kind of excited. So I'm hoping I can go. It looks like I can. Tickets aren't too bad. Price-wise, timing-wise works. I went to Europe twice this year, so I think I could do it again. So
that'll be right. You'll get it done. Okay, Mr. McCallum. Evan, how about yourself? How's your year, apart from obviously all the adulting of, house buying, marriages and all that?
Yeah, for sure. I would say the proudest moment of the year was getting married finally. Best moment for sure. Honestly, I guess kind of echoing a bunch of you guys here, including TJ. Year was a bit of a slow year, unproductive year compared to last year for sure. So I do have some regrets because every year I try to have like a goal, some way to improve my skills. Last year was I want to start adding bases to all my models, which I achieved. And this year it was I want to start adding figures along with the bases to my models because a figure always improves. Just even one figure, a crew figure or something, it greatly improves the realism, sense of scale, and just looks good. And I built and primed probably 6 or 7 resin figures this year for my various projects, but I haven't actually painted them. And I wish I had gotten around to doing that. So my regret is that I didn't actually paint any figures this year when that was my objective. But I think I can push that on the next year. Figures are ready to go. I'm just apprehensive because I used to paint figures when I was starting out and I did a kind of crappy job. So I haven't done it in a long time. I think I painted one figure a few years ago, but I haven't really painted figures and don't want to like mess up a resin figure, even though I could just strip it and just repaint it. But I want to do a good job and I just have to start to be able to start doing a good job and got to get my ass in gear and start. But I'm always a little bit nervous about trying something kind of new like that.
It's funny how that kind of holds us back. I mean, you're a fantastic modeler. I'm sure that you'll once you start doing it, like you said, you'll take to it. But I'm curious, is this just sort of a general, I want to put a figure on each one of my displays, or do you have a particular like diorama or story you want to tell, that you have some figures that you collected and you want to paint?
I'd say both. my bare minimum, like last year, it was I want to at least put a little base, but it could be, of course, a bigger base. That was my goal last year. Just something for the model for transport and display. And this year I want to have at least a figure per model. So for some of them, like my E25, I've just got one figure I want to put with it. And then I've got a few other little, just like guys standing around who I could just post in front of the vehicle. German, Russian guy just kind of stands through figure. But one project I'm working on, my Jagdpanzer 4 and SDKS 250 half track. And I've got a little, I guess you might call it a diorama or vignette. It's kind of borderline. I have crew figures for both the vehicles, and I have like some dragon teeth I want to put on the ground because the unit I'm modeling was outside of Aachen, I believe, where they had a bunch of those dragon teeth, like Siegfried Lion style stuff, where the unit kind of was stationed when they were defending the city. So I thought it'd be cool to put those dragon teeth with the vehicles. And I was trying to figure out how to like position vehicles and dragon teeth and not too big. And I had some help from Rick Lawler, who's, you guys know, very skilled at making a nice vignette or a base. So he gave me some good tips on posing and kind of setting up the whole scene. And then I make any progress because I didn't want to pick the figures because I was just apprehensive. But I've got some plans. Though I haven't really done like proper dioramas where you got all the different guys interacting. And it is an art to being able to make that look natural. Especially like you kind of almost have to be modifying figures to some extent just to make everything look really natural. I'm not quite there yet. I did modify like one guy's arm or two guys' arms to kind of hold the vehicle better because they were meant for a different vehicle. And actually resin figures is great because you can just like stick their arm in boiling water and then just like flex the hand so it's going to hold the handle properly, and actually easier than plastic in that way for sure. So I definitely developed some skills in like fixing up resin figures and using epoxy putty and everything and a bit of modification this year, but I really wish I'd gotten around to actually painting stuff.
I love what you're planning, and I think I'm very much like yourself. You need to actually just do it to get better of it rather than think about doing it. And it's so hard because sometimes, like you say, even with resin figures, I don't want to ruin them. It's like, you can't really ruin them. You can just strip them, but it's like, but they're so expensive, but I might ruin them. We honestly freak ourselves out at the thought of doing it rather than just doing it. And I completely get that.
Well, I cheat. Well, no, I was about to say, you guys mentioned outlook for the coming year ahead. For me, it's just figures.
Figures.
And finish all the projects I started this year. I want to wrap up stuff.
Yeah. No, I feel like I don't like taking stuff into a new year. It feels like it's an echo from the past. It's like, leave me alone. It's never stopped me. I do it every year, but yeah, it's not nice to do. It
looms over you.
It does. And people are like, oh, so what happened to that project you're working on? It's like, shut up. I don't want to talk about it. Okay, Mr. Gentry, how's your year been?
Honestly, my year was great. It was really, really busy, but full of great things. I mean, we started, I think John and I went to Model Fiesta like January 4th. So we got an early start and it's been a full year, went to AMPS, went to Europe. So from that standpoint, it was really great. As far as proudest moment, I think proudest moment was what we were able to do in March with the 48 and 48 and how much money we were able to raise. I was pretty proud of that. The community really rallies and comes together, and that's just awesome. It becomes a little bit bigger than these little plastic models that we put together. That always really kind of humbles me and blows me away. Best moment is, you could say all of Europe, but, you use the term moment. And so I'm going to boil down all the amazing things that we had happen to us to kind of to two quick things. First of all, best moment was when I went up on stage and was standing there with Doc. And, we weren't sure Doc was going to make the trip. We weren't sure Doc was going to still be around. And so that moment really meant a lot to me. And then I'm going to cheat and kind of go another one. And that was when Grant got his award. I mean, we all did really, really well. But, when Grant got the information that he had gotten bumped to Masters and he got a gold, and seeing TJ tell him, and he was kind of like a proud papa, and seeing Grant's face and the absolute just stunned, realization of what he had done is pretty hard not to kind of put that as a best moment for the year. So those are both really, really great moments, and ones I'll never forget. As far as did you achieve what I wanted? I don't know if we ever achieved what we wanted. I think we're all maybe maybe it's a flaw, but I think we all want to do more. We always want to be better. We want to, get more models done. Like Evan said, we want to paint figures, and I don't, and I do want to do that. So probably not. Anything I regret, no way. I'm not really a live in the past, live with regret kind of guy. Just kind of try and keep positive and keep going forward and everything. As far as hopes and wishes for the coming year ahead, just, if we could have another 2025 as far as, like helping people, continuing to do that, and then continue to see the work that you guys and the community are putting together and everything. I think that's all I want. Hopefully I'll get a science fiction build in there sometime during the next year, but really I think it's just really grateful for what we have and our awesome community, and the people that we get to talk to. Evan here, he mentioned Rick as well. We just have this amazing community and bunch of friends. So yeah, if we can continue that, I'm a happy guy.
And a happy Scott is a happy everyone. Everyone loves a happy Scott. Scott's always happy. But I agree. Like, if we can go forward and just like more of the same in all the positives, brilliant. Couldn't ask for more. Mr. Mayberry, give us your review.
It was a good year. I mean, I didn't make it to as many shows as I wanted to, but of course I did make it to a few. I think the proudest moment was watching, besides SMC for me, was Rocky Mountain, seeing how that show has just blown up. The quality, the quantity, what people bring to that show, and the organizers do for that show, AKA Barry, Scott, the whole group out there. They do a fantastic job. Seeing how the community is accepting and loving how the judging system is working out there. Seeing that whole thing and being a part of it. I mean, being a judge and helping Scott out there, and that's probably my proudest moment. Besides anything to help veterans is key to me. But that show is crazy, and if you don't, you need to go. So seeing how that show is going, watching you guys, seeing the builds that you guys have done, watching Jensen build 4 wonderful aircraft, and it seems like 5 minutes. That was crazy. Seeing TJ's beautiful piece of art that he built of a Sherman was phenomenal. JB's work, Scott's work, everybody's work, everybody on the page's work, and I got to meet some wonderful people this year. Four Corners guys. I went to Peter's demo at SMC, which was amazing. And I think it was a good year. Next year, SMC, of course, will be back. I will be back for sure. There's a couple shows I want to do locally. One up in Sacramento area or wine country area that I'm going to do. And then, of course, I'll be out at Rocky Mountain this year. So, it's just like Scott said, no regrets. I just want to keep going. What do I want to build? I want to get better at everything I do. I want to paint more figures like everybody else, but I also want to put together a model. I want to build more. It's been a rough year for the table because of just work and stuff like that. But I mean, it's been great. I mean, every year is great. It wasn't a productive year for me, that's for sure. But it is what it is. And sometimes you have to take these years like this. But just watching how everybody's grown, and it's been wonderful, especially the page. Watching what you guys put on the page, everybody puts on the page, is just so motivating. So just keep it up. That's all I ask.
No, honestly, yeah, I couldn't agree more. That's a great review. So, for myself, the only regrets I have, I don't ever regret doing something. I only ever regret not doing something. Because if I did it, it's like, well, I did it. You know what I mean? But if I don't, I'm like, I regret not doing that. I wish I did. They're my biggest regrets. But productivity-wise, only things I finished a 4 aircraft. And they were 72nd, and they were a mad bet rush for SMC. And I did them in a space of a month, which is kind of annoying. It's like, okay, you finished 4 aircraft this year. That's decent. But in a month, when I had 11 other months of doing nothing, so that feels a bit annoying. And that's where the regret comes in. I regret not doing more. But does that mean I'm going to do more? No, because I'm one of those people who are just like, I'm really annoying. I'm being unproductive. Okay, do something. No, I don't want to. It's like, you know what I mean? So it's just one of those great moments of the. I love traveling. Like, I loved going to the Amps house, spending time with like everyone, seeing Aaron and Ian again, and Doc, having not seen them for a couple years. It was great. Amps was great. First ever Amps show. The Amps Nats was brilliant. Winning medals at those shows are always great. So that was fun. Didn't enjoy being so ill. I thought I was dying there. So kind of that was a downside of the year. SMC and the entire trip surrounding that was just never forget that. That was just incredible. The amount of people we saw and hung out with and traveled with, the places we went, the miles we put in, just those trips are like, and I know everyone says, well, it's great, not everyone can afford trips like that. It's like, no, you can't, like, they can be expensive, but the memories you get from them are priceless. So I'll never regret doing those trips. They're amazing, and I'll remember them forever. Getting on stage, a third attempt at SMC, finally placed. That was nice. That was I would say my hands were shaking. They weren't. Everything was shaking. My legs weren't working on that walk up to the stage. That was nice. Someone grabbing my ass as soon as my name was announced that was quite pleasant. But yeah, honestly, just I'd say it's been not a very productive year, but it doesn't mean it's been a bad year. I think like models that have been released, that was great. Like there's been a lot of great announcements and releases this year, and seeing how companies are moving forward with development of kits and the pricing of kits, and how they go about engineering and developing to a point of, oh, this is brand new. Like how Edward are starting to do these hybrid where we'll only mold the main parts in plastic, everything else is 3D printed. I think that's genius. I think that's a really good move forward. And we're seeing that actually with, forgive me for not knowing the name, there's a 132nd Typhoon coming out, same principle. Fuselage wings, all main parts, plastic, all the details, all 3D printed. And I think that's how we're going to start seeing most kits go. Main part plastic, everything else 3D. And I'm here for it. Don't hate it. Love the idea. So I'm liking that. I think 2025 has been quite an interesting year to see how companies are going forward with stuff. I'm really looking forward to seeing how things move forward. Again, Riffield, they've started to move away from metal barrels and started doing 3D printed metal barrels and details. Granted, they have metal in the barrel. I think that's great. They need reinforcement. Because my biggest fear about that was that they're going to warp, but they're reinforced with metal rod in the middle. Yeah, I think it's an exciting time, and I think it's only going to get more exciting for manufacturers and kits and the development going forward. I'm looking forward to more trips. Obviously, SMC, that's just a given. That's just a given every year for me now, especially if I fly over to Europe. Like TJ said, flights in Europe, continental, are really cheap. So do that. I do want to do Telford again this year. Next year, sorry, for 26. I've already booked hotels. I don't want to miss it. It's one of those, I say I'm not going to go, and then when it happens the week of, the FOMO hits. And I'm like, wish I was there, actually. And it's like, I know COVID hit it quite bad for a lot of traders and people going, but now it's like, especially in the UK and that, anyone who's anyone, and like the big name traders, they're all there as well. It's like, ooh, I'm starting to miss out. I'm feeling it. So I want to do Telford again. Going back to Amps in April. Amps Nats in April in Indiana. Looking forward to that, as always. I love traveling to the US. It's just great. I'm so determined to make Rocky Mountain work. Meaning, I will guilt trip my poor mother into allowing that to happen. I'll be like, oh well, if I don't go, I'll just be really sad. And she'll be like, fine, go. No, it's June, isn't it? I can't want to say Rocky Mountain. I know that'll be quite hot, but I have nothing else in that bubble of period of time, so that I'm looking forward to probably making that work. That's a 90%er, and obviously I'm going Bristol with TJ. But apart from that, trip-wise, yeah, that's the calendar. And I have one goal for next year. That's a lie. I definitely want to get my big plane for SMC done, because I'm going to be in the large-scale aircraft category. Got to start that for that to happen. But really, I need to actually get builds done for Amps, because I have nothing new to take for that show. Literally nothing. So that's coming around in April. So that's kind of a must. That's only 4 paydays away. But yeah, that's my year in review. I'm really happy with the builds I've done, because I felt like even though there was only 4, and yes, they were only 172nd aircraft, the finish on them, some of my best work. And that I'm really happy about. Granted, I gave one of them away, and I'll be giving another one of them away in April. I'm bringing TJ, the gold medal winner. I think he earned that. So yeah, like granted, output wasn't great, but quality of the output, delighted with. So yeah, that's my 25 in review. Only regrets are didn't do more, but I think I don't know anyone who's not guilty of that. Wish I did more sort of thing.
Yeah, I mean, I think, like I said, we always want to do more, want to, improve, whatever the case may be, and I think it's natural. But maybe you should consider, delving into Alex Clark's realm, do some 72nd scale armor. Some of those. I mean, there's just a lot of great kits. the Vespid stuff, and it'd be easier to transport those over here to amps as well.
It's funny you say that. I was scrolling through e-models the other day, and they had some Vespid stuff in. I was just like, you know what? Might give that a go. Because granted, 70-second scale tanks are bloody tiny. I don't know how Alex does it. But like you say, transporting them, just general bench. Actually, no, my bench space would still end up only being like a square millimeter by the end of the project. But I think smaller is better, as I'm about to start a 132nd scale twin engine aircraft. But yeah, I think smaller does work for me. Less footprint, like less bench space of a burden, but also it's small. You know what I mean? It's just small. It can be easily. It doesn't mean the quality has to be less. It just is so much easier to work around. Takes less material. Takes less time. And I think time's one of my worst things. If I look at something for too long, I get sick of the sight of it, or I get blinded by everything I don't like rather than everything I've done that I do like. So the quicker something gets off my bench, the better.
The quality too. The manufacturers. I mean, Manx came out with the new Bradleys, the German SPs, some of the new vehicles are coming out 172nd scale, and you can thank Andy for that. But I mean, those things, they're the kits that are coming out in 172nd scale are amazing. The detail, look at Scott's Dauntless and Flyhawk. They take that and you put it into 130 or 172nd armor. You'll see it. It's just crazy.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, those Vespid kits, most of them have 3D printed parts, and I think they all have photo etch. They're really, really quite detailed. They're not quite at Alex Clark level, but they're pretty darn good. And like I said, you can grab a larger prototype, Yog Panther, Centurion, Comet, whatever, and put that together, and you probably put 2 or 3 of those in your travel case for the size of 1/35th scale.
Yeah, and Alex has got I think he's on Colts 3D, which he got upgrades for all that stuff. So, shout out to Alex Clark out there. But, he's got some great upgrades out there, too.
I spend way too much on that website. It's one of those rabbit hole websites. It's like, okay, need some tracks. Going to go on looking for these tracks. And like a few hours later, it's like, oh, my basket's like got 30 items in. What the hell? It's like, oh, that's why. I got sidetracked by tabletop minis and D&D stuff. It's like, what was I doing on here again? I've forgotten. Really bad for the ADHD with that. It's just like, oh, whoops.
Well, that was a good discussion point, Jensen. Why don't we take a little bit of time and everybody shine your heat lamps on our guest here, Evan, and let's ask him some questions. So, Evan, you one of the things, good answers on the best moment, by the way. Don't want to get you in any trouble. But you mentioned earlier that you went to Moshan, and that's a show that I think all of us, are kind of interested in attending someday. And then you also mentioned maybe kind of wanting to do more with figures. I'm kind of wondering if maybe those are tied together a little bit. But tell us about that experience and also kind of what's motivating that interest in figures.
Yeah, you're right in that I completely forgot to discuss shows at all during my look into this year and also next year, because next year I also would definitely like to go to. There's like AMPS and Rocky Mountain Show and even SMC if possible. But yes, absolutely. Back in April, I did go to the Moshan Show, which was it's probably the same as when you guys first go to SMC. It's a completely different level than anything I'm used to. It's like every single model on the table is a showstopper. And there's also all these people that, at least being international, all these people that you've seen their work, or even like you meet them at the show and you're like, wow, this is amazing. Like you're networking with all these people you dreamed about meeting because you look up to them. And now I don't know how SMC compares to Moshan because I haven't been to both of them, but I would like to go to SMC to compare. The level of work on the figures was amazing, but I'd say that my interest in figures isn't just from like a figure painting perspective. It's just because I want to have some cool looking guys with my tank, basically. Kind of like with the base work. I'm not necessarily into base work on its own. It's just I like the look of that with the rest of my model, like a whole scene. But yeah, like I don't even know if I'll ever be good enough to enter into like a figure competition at one of these SMC Moshan shows, because I mean, TJ talks about like OSL, and I recall this a while ago. He talked about like OSL and painting metal and all this stuff. And I'm like, he said, it's just easy, just do it. And I'm like, what are you talking about? I can't even fathom how to like do those, like when people have like a candle or like a lightsaber, and how do you even do that? I don't know how you can picture how that works unless you have like an actual reference. That is amazing. Yeah, these people are next level. I have so much respect for them.
Yeah, I really do think it's, I mean, I definitely relate to kind of how you feel about it. I know that, yeah, TJ would say just jump in the pool and get going on it. And that's great advice. But I think I think adding figures adds a human. I mean, it's sort of like relative, right? You have a vehicle, but if there's a figure there, it sort of brings maybe a little bit of a level of humanity, but also scale. But, I wonder how that's going to affect like Panzermeister36, your YouTube channel. Like, I know Martin a couple years ago, Night Shift, he started doing figures, and I think that played a big part in sort of his channel. And then, he did a lot with bases and facades. He's amazing at all that stuff. But I know when he started with figures, I remember, he just sort of, here's my first 2 or 3 figures. And everybody went, okay. but I kind of wonder how that's going to help your channel.
People definitely do like to see, like in terms of videos, big dioramas, and I imagine a lot of people who are also into building tanks are also looking at building figures with them, like I am. So I will definitely do some videos on why I struggle with painting figures, and I imagine people enjoy that. It's a separate aspect, but like doing bases, it's still part of the same, even the same genre if you're doing like a tank vehicle for sure. I'm always tempted to like start filming the first figure I do, but I probably paint a couple before, because often, even if I do a good job on the first example of a technique or something that I'm doing, I often am very slow and inefficient. So I don't want to film the first go at something. Experience to have it nailed down before I do a video on it. But I will plan on doing some videos on painting guys. Got a bunch lined up, and I got to stop. Like I said, I got to stop dragging ass in the paint booth or brush paint.
Well, I don't know.
Even, like, try new techniques. Like I've never done a zenithal prime or anything like that. Like glazing, all this fancy stuff. I just kind of painted them with acrylics, old school, almost half. I should try some new techniques and develop my own style, I guess.
Yeah, for sure. I don't know how the other guys feel about this, but I think one of the things that makes me like to watch Martin so much, kind of getting back to him, and you mentioned zenithal, the first figures that he did, that's one of the techniques he used. But I like the fact that he's going to try something and he's going to film it, and if he messes up, he shows you, or if he has to take a different route, he shows you. So that might be maybe something to consider and look at. It might also motivate you if you go out there to your channel and say, hey, I'm going to do this, so stay tuned. Might put some motivation behind you.
Yeah, for sure. Martin's very good at his presentation, and of course his skill is like, when you make a good YouTube video, it's not only like the presentation and the skill, it's like everything going together, good narration, good pacing. He's a master at that. I think what also makes his stuff look so good is that his style is very unified across the base, the figure, and the vehicle, especially with the way he does, like he built I know everyone's terrified the first time they see one of his dioramas where he like puts all the grass and everything on there, and then he just primes it all black, and everyone's like, no, it was already like, colored with all the grass and everything. But those colors and the products as they are never natural. You have to actually like paint it the same way as you paint the model or the figure, like black base it and then build it up, and that way you have that same shadow style, and his models are like very unified, which is something that's tricky to get, making the weathering and painting and everything and the lighting between the vehicle, the base, and the ground or the figures all look 100% like it belongs together. I've never really tried it, so I should definitely try to develop.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I wanted to ask you about, while we're talking about your YouTube channel too. You've got, I think, 225-ish videos. I think you got 83,000 subs. When did you start that? I mean, you were pretty young, weren't you?
Yeah, I started it in 2013, so I've been doing it for 12 years now, 12 and a half years. I think it was July 2013. I was like 15 years old.
Holy cow.
And I've got a house and I'm married and I'm an old man.
You got a little bit of time to go.
Yeah. I've got a lot of videos. A bunch of the older ones I've kind of like delisted, so they're actually not visible anymore because I don't think they're really relevant. I've kind of redone the same techniques in new videos. But to go back and watch my oldest videos, skim through the presents, you can see my skills develop. And there's models that that stand out as like, oh, that's the first one I did like a proper, like full on wash and everything, like developing skills, which nowadays I'm like, that's just how you weather a model. But I was like 16 years old. I was doing modeling for a year or so. And then I learning with, back in the old days on YouTube, it was almost like we were learning together. We had like videos and you would almost like make a video response to people. It was a much smaller community. And most people actually had channels smaller and closer. We all kind of learned together. And then nowadays, a lot more just like tutorials and sharing stuff I've learned and so on. And a lot more of the discussion face-to-face style is almost like more on the forums like Facebook. And at least in my opinion, that's what I've noticed. Those
overall, though, like I think your top 5 weathering tips video, I share that with, people that come in the hobby all the time. That I always recommend that video. It's really good. But I think those are your popular ones. I want to say that top 5 weathering tips is coming in close to like 1 million views or something.
Yeah. And this is something that if you ever get into making YouTube videos, will always mystify you, but you can never predict how viral, I'll say the term, a video is going to go. I can spend months and months editing this like 8 hours of raw video for a full weathering video. And it's kind of like, it gets a bunch of views, but it's fine. And then I make a video, which is, I made a video talking about why prime models in red instead of like black, or the top 5 weathering techniques. And it explodes. And it's like the YouTube algorithm, right? It's hard to demystify how this works and how it gets spread through the internet. And I try not to do like clickbaity style videos because I find that to be kind of lowbrow. I try to make it more like just video is kind of the thumbnail and title is just trying to show what the video is. Tutorial on this technique or whatever. But yeah, like that top 5 weathering videos or techniques video, I never would have expected that would be my most popular video. And if I knew it was going to be my most popular video, I would have changed some things about it and maybe actually show different techniques in it. I can't go, maybe I could redo it, but if I redo it, it'll always be in the shadow of that video. And yeah, that's just kind of how the YouTube thing works. Sure, people like Martin and other guys who have big channels will agree. It's kind of depressing when you, like I said before, when you spend so much time in a big video, it's like a passion project of yours, and just something like maybe the subject wasn't as attractive to the audience or just YouTube didn't promote it as much. Then you make some like half-assed video about priming models in red or just 5 techniques that a beginner might want to try to improve their skills to the next level. And it just blows up and you're like, why do I even bother with all this editing of a 8-hour long?
Yeah, I think one of Martin's most popular videos is the chipping, where he just takes the rear the rear panel or the side panel and just don't do this and do this kind of a thing. And I know he's always kind of surprised by that. Going back to kind of Jensen's question, what, as far as Panzermeister36, your YouTube channel, maybe what are some goals or what's the direction that you want to kind of take that in 2026?
An overarching goal of my channel in general is I would like to hit 100,000 subs because that's something I can reasonably hope to achieve. In the next year, I want to get back to making regular videos. Like I try to do it about once a month. And I just want to get more like weathering videos done because this year especially, and also last year, I haven't really got a lot of like projects finished, and therefore I didn't get to finish the big weathering tutorials. People seem to enjoy my 30 to 45 minute long, like full weathering procedure videos. And I have to actually finish a project, get that thing done. And I can build something and I can do a post-build review. And then I have to like, that's kind of when some projects will stall. And then if I want to keep growing and make popular videos, my most popular videos are my weathering videos, also the most enjoyable videos for me to make, and also the modeling I enjoy weathering the most. I do want to finish all the things I've got like 80-90% done. I have like on my laptop right now probably like 4 or 5 weathering videos that are almost done. Just need to finish the model and I can put up a nice weathering video. So hopefully next year there'll be a lot more weathering content and painting camouflages and so on. And it'll be fun for me and hopefully fun for the audience. Kind of my jam, I guess.
Yeah, for sure. I think you're definitely on that trajectory for 100K and looking forward to you reaching that. But man, I can't believe you started when you were like, what did you say, 15?
Yeah, I would have been 15 if I started in July 20.
Wow. That's
You're
amazing.
probably like already graduated university and still in your career and all that good stuff. I was still a little child back then.
Awesome. Well, thanks for joining us and happy holidays. And Jensen, I will kick it back over to you now.
Thank you. I'm genuinely trying to do the maths in my head of 2013, how old I was. And for some, yeah, I was 16. It's like, blimey. Yeah, okay, righty. No, so to edit this bit out. I'm just was it vamping? Here we go. Okay, so I want to move on to another discussion point. And actually, this was Evan's idea. So hopefully you remember. If not, I can read the question, or if you remember what it was, because I think it's a bloody great one, and I definitely wanted to discuss it.
I can go ahead with it.
Absolutely.
Actually, I think I either posted the comment or I texted it to Scott while I was listening to the previous episode at 128. This was coming from your guys' kind of like you're talking about looking back on the year, how many models you finished, and TJ was saying that people posting how many models they finished, which I can relate to because there's always people finishing more than you and doing better job than you, and I haven't actually finished properly a single model. I finished one back in January. But listening to that, I went over to my display shelf and I was looking at all my finished models, mostly from last year and so on. And I'm sure if you guys have display tables, it's probably kind of like mine in that top shelf has your best work, and as you go down all the shelves, it gets kind of like older and older work. And top shelf is best work and bottom shelves are less good work. And it also usually aligns to most recent work is at the top, oldest work is at the bottom. But I have one model on the top of my shelf, which I finished, I think, 7 years ago. And it still holds up very well to my recently finished models. And it kind of had me think, like, do you guys also have a model or two that you finished long ago, and it somehow still holds up with your current standards of finish? And did you realize at the time that this was like a watershed moment, or like what is, or nowadays looking back, why is that model still holding up so well to your current level of finish? I open the floor to anyone who wants to discuss if they've got a model like that.
Great question. Love it. As soon as I read it, one instantly came to mind. And it's similar to yours. I think I did this over 7 or 8 years ago. And it's the Special Hobby 132nd scale Hawker Tempest Mark V of a kit. Like the kit's not great. I mean, it's Special Hobby, so you kind of know what you're going to get. Like short run molds, so the plastic's a bit, and the fit is certainly. But it's still on my display case now, and it's one of the few large scale models I still have because I don't really have place to display big stuff, so it tends to get broken. I'm just like, okay, it's broke, bin it. My 262's gone. Like a lot of big stuff's gone, but that one I am so meticulous over making sure it's clean and kept safe because I look at it now, I'm like, damn. Even now, it's like. I surprised myself looking at it like, that's good. Like, that's really good. Like, everything was painted on it. There's no decals at all. The paint finish, the weathering, the actual build quality as well, because it wasn't an easy build. Anyone who's built like it knows it's not fun. You will not enjoy it. It is a task. But if you're determined, you will beat it. And I look at it, I'm just like, even now, it's like, that's a damn good build. I love that build. So yeah, as soon as I read the question and heard the question again, it's like, boom, straight away, that one comes to mind. It makes me want to revisit it, but it's like you've said, I don't want to revisit it because it'll always be in the shadow of the first one, and I'm scared I won't do better.
Now, at the time when you finished it 7 years ago, did you look at it right then and realize this is my best work ever?
No. When I finished it, I was just like, yeah, it's a decent. It was for a magazine, so I was just like, okay, it looks good enough for a magazine. It's done. I can forget about it. I didn't think I'd still own it to this day. I'd be like, nah, I'll get rid of it and build it again at some point, even better. And I never did because I do this a lot with my builds. Don't really like it when it's done. I need a cooling off period. Then I look at it again. It's like, you know what? That's fucking good, actually. I don't know why I think it's not good when I'm working on it. But yeah, no, good question. That at the time I didn't think much of it, but now I'm like, I'm so glad I've kept it. It's brilliant.
I think that taking the break is helpful in that you kind of forget about all the little flaws that you see that no one else does. That's why sometimes you can finish a model and you're like, it's all right. People look at it and they love it because they also don't see those flaws because they're only things that the builder would notice. So then you're kind of in that stage now, looking back on it, where you can just see all the good stuff about it. You forgot about the suffering or anything that messed up during the build that no one else has ever actually noticed.
Oh, I see. It's great. And I do look at it thinking, I want to redo it, but sometimes it's like, no, leave it as a great memory.
Don't meet your heroes. Just leave it as it is.
Yes, yeah. Live with the nostalgia. Appreciate that.
Yeah.
Well,
no one else likes their builds.
No, I'll jump in. Good question. I mean, as I look at my stuff, and I think I have one build from 2018 that I did that I think I did it did a lot better than I thought that it ever would, and I still have it, which surprises me. I built the Bandai C3PO and I stripped all the metal off the thing that I repainted with alkali paints. And at the time, it was for IPMS Nationals in Phoenix in 2018. I think that's where it was at. And but it was a good build. I mean, it was fun, and I did it for a magazine. Like Jensen said, he did his, but I didn't think much about it, and it did decently. I think it got third or a second. But as I look at it now, it's probably one of the best things I've ever done, but I didn't see it at the time. I mean, it was kind of weird. But now it just, like you said, that cooling off period is really kind of important. And, but I mean, to tell you the truth, that's the oldest one I have that I really I'm surprised about. That build was a quick build. I remember that. It was just really fast, and, first time using Alclad and stuff like that. So that's probably mine. I mean, that's what I would say. And I did, it still holds up today. I mean, I think it does hold up today. So that would be mine.
So yeah, I was looking through my old pictures, trying to find something, because I had a couple ideas. Of course, the caveat is I haven't been modeling that long, so I don't have like that far back to look. But like Grant, I'm probably also gonna have to go with a Star Wars kit, because that's what I used to do a lot of, and I'm sure Scott's gonna know exactly which one I'm gonna say. Is it is still to this day, I've mentioned it a million freaking times, probably my favorite Star Wars kit I've ever done is Jack Porkins Red 6 using the Bandai 72nd scale kit. I built it, ended up selling it to a friend of mine for next to nothing. I kind of wish I had it back because I loved it so much. Is it as good as I could do now? Probably not. I feel like I could probably do better, because this was, when did I build this? Yeah, 2018. It's like early 2018. So over 7 years ago. Yeah, almost 8 years ago. I freaking love that thing so much. I love the scheme. I feel like I did a really awesome job on it. And then there was another one. I was looking through my photos too, and I still have this one in my display cabinet. This one I kept because I really thought it turned out good. But the very first actual scale model that I did that wasn't part of like Warhammer or anything, like I built like a Rhino tank like really early, but the first like non-gaming model I ever did was a fine mold 72nd scale TIE fighter. And I still have it. It's in my cabinet upstairs. And I still think it holds up. Like, it's a really, like, it's pretty solid. I mean, it's a freaking TIE fighter, so there's not a whole lot going on. It's just a ball with some wings. You know what I mean? It's not like there's, like, all sorts of crazy weather and all this stuff. But, man, I really, like, I just looked at a picture of it. I'm like, damn, that actually turned out really good. And I built that in 2014. Yeah, like, early 2014. So, over 10 years ago. And I'd only been modeling, I think, for that point, for maybe a couple, painting Warhammer figures for maybe a couple years. It's like 2011 or something like that. 2012. Yeah. I really like that thing. It's pretty awesome. I love those fine mold kits. I still have a whole bunch of them. Yeah. Those would be my picks. Like, I feel like I could probably get that out and show it to someone and be like, oh man, you should just build this. I don't know if that says anything about me or says anything about how, like, maybe I was just as good back then. I don't know. Yeah, those would be my choices. And really, like, I was just looking at all my Star Wars stuff, like, oh, this stuff, it's pretty decent. I did, Poe Dameron's Black One T-70 X-Wing a couple years ago for a Canadian guy, actually, on commission. I built like 5 things for him. And, I was really proud. Like, Black 6 turned out pretty good. Anyone that's painted black knows it's pretty hard. it's not easy to do. And yeah, I don't know. That's what I would choose. That one was also 7 years ago. I wish I had better pictures of it. For whatever reason back then, I took pictures and then shrunk them down like really small. And the detail, I don't know. I don't know what the hell I was doing back then. Yeah, with as far as pictures goes. But yeah, those are my choices.
Well, +1 on that X-Wing. I own, geez, TJ, I probably have as many of your Star Wars builds as you do. I think I've got at least 3 of them. I've got another one of your TIE fighters. I've got your pink R2-D2 droid, and I've got your Slave 1, and they're all pretty good, man. So, but that X-Wing is, I think that's kind of the build that, TJ and I, as we became friends over, that X-Wing was something I just kind of, he has an Orion Paintworks blog, and I always would go back to it and just look at that and the scheme and everything. If you guys haven't seen that, it's definitely worth a look. I keep waiting for the day when he grabs one of his 48 scale fine molds and takes another whack at that one. That'll be really, really good.
The funny thing is, I probably mentioned this before, but as big as a Star Wars fan as I am, which is huge, I don't have most of my Star Wars kits, and like all the ones that I have are all Empire stuff, and I'm not an Empire, like, the Empire were the bad guys. Like, I don't know if anyone realizes that, but like, all these like Empire stands, like, yeah, they're the bad guys. They're wrong. They're evil. Like, yeah, sure, their stuff looks cool, and like, it's part of the story, but like, sidebar, I hate like this like sane washing of like the Empire that like all these people do. I'm like, no, they're all bad. The stormtroopers are bad. That's why they call them stormtroopers. Like, Darth Vader's evil. He literally wears like all black and has a red sword. I'm like, that's bad. I love the Rebel Alliance. They're the freaking good guys. Luke Skywalker's the best. I have a Rebel Alliance tattoo, but I have like no Rebel stuff in my collection. It's all gone. I either built it for someone else, or I ended up selling it, or I gave it away.
Well, you've just described German modelers. Yeah, it's like, see some similarities here between, I only modeled the bad guy. Yeah, we could tell.
It's not even about, I'm not even talking about modeling. I'm just talking about like the fandom in general. Like, people like go apeshit over the Empire, and I'm just like pulling my hair out. I'm like, dudes, they were evil. Like, you guys realize that? Like, they blew up a whole planet just for fun. Like, that's not cool.
Yeah, if you could, wouldn't you?
No, I wouldn't. I'd fly my X-Wing down the trench and blow up the Death Star if I had the choice.
I would love a Death Star.
Well, you've got that Millennium Falcon, TJ.
Yeah, I mean, you mentioned like I've had this thing sitting on my desk for like, I don't know, a while. I have. I mean, it's sitting right here.
Oh wow,
That's a good kit. It's an awesome kit.
yeah, it is.
I have the Bandai one too, the one that moves. That one's always cool. Yeah. Sorry for the Star Wars tangent.
No, it's good.
Don't worry.
It's good.
Again, Empire's bad guys, Rebel Alliance is good guys. Don't let anyone tell you otherwise.
Yeah, I guess I'm a little bit, TJ, more in line with you. I really find myself not really building a lot of Empire subjects. I have an AT-AT that's primed somewhere, but, haven't done a lot of ties. I'm just more into the X-Wings, and my favorite is probably the Snowspeeder. I really like that, but yeah, I like those, the Rebels also use like that sort of repurposed hand-me-down ships, so everything is missing panels and banged up and has big, burn marks on it, which is appealing to me as a modeler too. But that's probably going to be my answer.
Hold on.
Oh, go ahead. Yeah.
I got one more pet peeve. I've probably mentioned this before too. This is where like my nerd side's coming out. The Y-Wing is the best ship in the Rebel inventory. And you can't tell me it's not, because that was the ship that was chosen for the trench run to blow up the Death Star. You wouldn't use your best ship to do the most important, or you wouldn't use your worst ship to do the most important thing. And that bothers me so much when people act like the Y-Wing, which is arguably the coolest ship. It's the coolest one. I don't care what anyone says. X-Wings or whatever. Y-Wings are so freaking cool. And they're the best ship in the Rebel fleet, fighter-wise. Hands down. That's the reason why they chose it. I just had to get that off my chest. I might have mentioned it before. Everyone goes crazy for the X-Wing, whatever, it's iconic. But the friggin' Y-Wing is so cool and so awesome, and it's the best ship they had. It could do anything. It's a jack-of-all-trades ship. It's like the P-47 of the Rebel Alliance, right? Like, except probably even better.
That's a great comparison. Really
Yeah.
great comparison. And that actually is funny you say that, because what I was going to say is I've got a Y-Wing I put together. It lives at Josh Buck's house now, but that would be, I think, my answer to Evan's question. As far as, what build do you think still holds up? It's probably, I don't know, 4 or 5 years old now. And I think it's pretty good, and I think it holds up. I did a lot of new things in the sci-fi context that I think holds up. And then also, TJ, to your rants point, if you look at my Star Wars stash, I have more Y-Wings between Fine Molds and Bandai than any other ship from Star Wars. So I think my stash would definitely agree with you that it's the coolest of all the ships.
And I know I mentioned it before, the Fine Molds Y-Wing is better than the Bandai one. It
Definitely.
just is.
Yeah.
It looks better. The proportions look better.
Yeah.
And I know when I did my Fine Molds one, when you look at that thing head on, that thing, it's mean looking. Like, it is far more intimidating than looking at X-Wing head on. Like, the Y-Wing looks like burly. You do not want to mess with the Y-Wing.
Yeah, I think the engine sells the length. In the Fine Molds kit looks a little better to my eye than the Bandai. And also, I had a wrecked Fine Molds Y-Wing. It had an accident, but I kept it, and I used the droid head from the Fine Molds kit on my Bandai build that I'm talking about that Josh has, because I think the droid head on the Bandai kit, I'm sure they scanned Lucasfilm's models. I'm sure it's correct, but to my eyes, I think the droid head is too small on the Bandai, and so I used the Fine Molds one on it. I think it turned out a lot better. So that would be my answer. And Evan, thank you for firing TJ up on Star Wars tangents.
Actually, just to wrap up the discussion question, I actually never mentioned what my model from 7 years ago was. It's my T-40 light tank, a little Soviet amphibious light tank. And I do love that style of those little Russian things from the 1930s. And it's like not a tank, not a boat. Like, you took the worst aspects of both and put them together. Propeller on the back and all this stuff. It looks silly, but that was a project where I the first time I did like all the welds on the vehicle, did a really good job with the whitewash. I also played around a lot with the oil paint color modulation, which is style now. And then I think it was the first model that I did metal tracks on. Maybe not the first, but one of the first ones for sure. And at the time, I was happy with it. And then now looking back on it, like, it still really holds up. I think it's just because that was a model where I put those techniques I just mentioned, put them to use and did a great job. And it was kind of like one of the first models where I had my whole style kind of nailed down. And looking back on it, like, I would probably replace some of the plastic parts with photo etch because they're way over scale around like the gun shield, and the metal tracks are kind of like a little bit kind of like curving in at the back. They didn't really fit to the wheels properly, so they're not parallel or perpendicular to the wheel line. But it still looks really, really good, and it still sits on the top of my shelf, front facing out, so you can't see the warp tracks in the back. And great model. Also, would like to point out that it is interesting that both myself, Jensen, Grant, and two of the models TJ mentioned were all finished 7 years ago, 2018. I don't know what happened that year. We all peaked in 2018.
It's been downhill since.
Yeah.
That T-40 has been kind of iconic for you, Evan. I mean, you use a lot of the thumbnails and the photos on your social media, and that's a really, really nice build.
I recently got actually at a crowd auction at the show we had in Ottawa back in October. I got the Hobby Boss T38, which is actually the same one that Ian Bonner spilled the beer on, I believe, in kit. And a very similar vehicle, so I kind of want to do that maybe in a very similar style and try to kind of prove upon my skills from 8 years ago or 7 years ago. See how that goes. That's a project I might attempt.
You got to use the banquet. The banquet beers weathering.
Yeah.
See
how that goes.
Yep. All right. Let's see. Oh, yeah. Hey, Jensen, what time is it in the UK?
Well, for me, it's 5:45. But to quote Andy Williams, it's the most wonderful time of the year. But unlike Dean Martin, I don't have my love to keep me warm. And I don't need it because I have a Plastic Posse sweatshirt that does the job and more. That's right, ladies and gentlemen, Dickory Dock, leave out your sock and let St. Nick fill it with some awesome Plastic Posse merch. Just like t-shirts, sweater, mugs, pillows, stickers, and even some of those world-famous lounge trousers. Hopefully Santa or a loved one can bring you the most amazing gifts in the world. Send them over to loungetrousers.com for some festive sparkle this year. Happy holidays, everyone. Happy holidays.
Well, with all that being said, hope everyone listening has happy holidays, and hopefully you can go to some nice holiday parties, and hopefully you don't get as trashed at yours as I did at my AMPS party, because I was pretty rough the next day for being an old man. Can't do it like I used to. And again, I'd like to thank all of our sponsors, Micro World Games, Tankcraft, Tamiya USA, Bases by Bill, and AK Interactive. Hopefully you guys all get something under the tree for one of those people, one of our fine sponsors. And again, happy holidays and happy new year.
One of the ways that you can help to support the Plastic Posse is to become a Plastic Posse Outrider. If you want to become a Plastic Posse Outrider, it's super easy. You could even do it wearing lounge trousers, of course. Hopefully our Patreons will enjoy the holidays and also check our Patreon for exclusive YouTube content that we've been posting over there. Hopefully everybody enjoyed our special that we did with the Four Corners Club and the pictures of JB's Citroen van that he's been working on over there. If you'd like to become a Patreon, just go over to patreon.com/Plastic Posse Podcast. You can set up a recurring donation there. These contributions help offset the cost of bringing you the posse. There are 3 different tiers of support, and they start at just $1 a month. You get some great benefits. You get early access to podcasts, premium access to the hosts, the chance to appear on a podcast, and exclusive Triple P content and social events at various model shows.
Let's recognize our amazing deputy marshals. These loyal contributors support what the posse does, and we genuinely appreciate each and every one of you. You probably heard one of my cats meowing in the background, so you get that. That's cool. That's Sherman. They are Angel Garcia, Martin Holst, Carl Doran, Pat Brown, Ryan Smith, Alamo Squadron, Model Fiesta, Curtis Towers, Winston Gould, The Quiet Corner Modeler, Daryl Miller, Rob Booth, David Clark, Richard Lane, Robbie Knopfs, Wesley Becker, Eric Dyleach, David Wassel, Matt Tutman, Zach Pease, Brett Marcan, Greg Williams, Nick Wolf, Brian Clark, Sean Earl, Black Cat Scale Models, Craig Jarbo, Red Beach One Studios, James Rondo, Mike Norris, Stephen Rodwell, Rick Cooper, Eric Cavina, John Hale, happy birthday, Eric Kane, Logan Hansen, Tim Gidcombe, Dan Newman, Robert Blocker, Tyler Moore, Derek Post, Craig Flynn, Kenneth Childress, Drew Gardner, Scott Hall, Frank Perone, Jeremy Diamond, Terry Wilkinson, Chris Lovewell, Andrew Callis, Ethan Idemill, Steve Baker. Thank you for the MiG-21. Patrick Brown, Jay Kidd, Brandon Gentry, Lee Fogel, Robert Klein, Mark Ewing, Toadman, Model Doc, Greg James, Les Procala, John Everett, Uncle Buck, Mark Bradley, Eric Brubaker, Jeremy Moore. Thank you for this MiG-21 as well. DP Scale Model Studios, Jeremy Elliott, Mike Talley, Previous Seat, Mediocre Middle-Aged Modeler, Dan Knopfel, and JC Osborne.
Let's not forget our posse foreman. The crew is made up of posse outriders who give the deputy marshals a hand. We'll also thank them for their support. The voice of Bob, Graham, Keith, Dwayne, AK Armor, Bill, Casey, Teresa, Russ, Stefan, Mikkel, Lavar, Gil, Mike, Michael, Scott, Emery, The Krieger, Ozzy Modeler, William, Jeff, Eddie, Ross, Warhoff Models, G. Baker, Tom Stuff, Crazy Loca, Len, Cliff, Damian, Cody, Nukeman Mike, Paul, iBones Models, Mr. Grizz, Jackson, Joel, Chris, Jamie, MD Models, Papa Steve Munsell, JB, Eric, Matthew, and David. And of course, our $1 and free posse riders. Thank you.
Happy holidays, everybody, and thanks for joining us for episode 129. This will be our last episode for 2025. We're going to end the episode with a new feature that we call Rants with TJ. Somebody didn't keep TJ out of the eggnog, so be prepared for some spicy opinions and some spicy language ahead. Enjoy, and we'll see you in 2026.
Hold on. There's one more topic that I wanted to bring up. It can be a quick one. Maybe a little divisive, I don't know. It's about amps. And their introduction of the, what do they call it, expert category. And my whole take on this thing is that it makes no sense. It doesn't solve any of the problems that I have with amps that I've made clear. So I've been a member of these working groups. I might have mentioned it before. They put together to come up with ideas to improve the society. It's okay. I brought up to the working group and to Neil, the president, that in my estimation, it is far too easy to get a gold in advanced at amps. And I think we mentioned it on a podcast too. It's essentially a meaningless award. It means nothing. And as I explained in the amps group on Facebook last year at Camp Hill, 60% of all the advanced models in Allied armor got gold. I'm sorry, no, it's more than 60. I can't remember what the percentage, but mostly golds. Like the bronze and silvers, the golds outnumbered the bronze and silvers combined. And the argument to that was, well, if a gold medal model is a gold medal model, it is what it is. And my retort was, well, they're not all gold medal models. It's just, they're not. And that may be an unpopular thing to say in amps, but a lot of those don't deserve gold. As I mentioned before, when you get an out-of-box 48 scale kit getting a 30.5 in advanced, that's astronomical. Or that makes no sense because it doesn't even follow the amps judging guidelines where an advanced model should have advanced techniques where you're adding detail that's missing, you're scratch building stuff, you're incorporating aftermarket, you're painting and weathering artistically, and I've seen it, a literal 48 scale out of box Tamiya kit, not even painted well, not weathered well, not even artistically, just basic, like all one color is getting a 30.5. That's a perfect score. That's not an advanced model. But no one wants to say that at amps, and it really irritates me because this doesn't solve any problems. Adding another category, and then you arbitrarily choose you have to win 10 golds in advance. And then I guess they, crunch the numbers, and there is I think less than 20 people. I was one of them that could compete at the expert level, which doesn't make any sense because they're not changing the judging criteria. So a gold in advance, if you get a 30, is still going to be a gold in expert. So what is the point? And then it's like, oh, well, we're not going to give out bronzes. Yeah, okay. That's like 4 people. And that's not even an exaggeration. If you look at because they post all this on the website, if you look at the medal distribution for the last, especially couple years, most people in advance don't get a bronze. They either get silver or gold. Most people get gold. So what are you taking away? 4 extra medals? Like that doesn't make any sense. My problem is, and I'm not the only person that has this opinion, it's medal bloat. It's a bunch of people getting together and giving each other gold medals. And my argument has been, if that's what you want amps to be, then just come out and say that. But instead, you put all this stuff on the website and you talk about it on social media and in person about how, we want to make we're trying to make the modelers better. But you're not really, because you're awarding mediocre and oftentimes not good work the highest medal that you can get, right? And you're not making anyone better if you just give everyone golds. But if you want to give everyone golds, I'm on board with that. That's fine. Okay, I'll go and show up and collect my golds and go home. I don't care. But you can't have it both ways. You can't say that you're striving to make modelers better and offering valuable feedback to make them better when all you do is give them freaking golds. So what difference does it make? It makes no difference. In a sense, but feedback for a gold medal is still important because maybe they can, get a little bit better and get a best of. I'm like, why? They're arbitrarily chosen as it is because I've mentioned it before. None of the best ofs from any time that I've gone, I don't agree with like 90% of them because flat out they're not the best model. They're someone's favorite, which is fine, but technically not the best model. Just not. And I applaud amps for at least trying to do something, but they're not actually doing anything. They're just waving their hands around and being like, oh, this is our solution. And it's not a solution. It makes no effing sense. It's a waste of time. And yeah, I don't get it. I just don't understand, because that's not what anyone came up with when we were talking about this in our work meetings. I don't know whose idea it was, but it was a dumb idea. So yeah, that shit's been bothering me since they announced it like 2 weeks ago. I really try not to be negative, but it's like, guys, what are you doing? What are you actually doing? Mm-hmm. And as I told Neil face to face, you wonder why all the best modelers in the United States don't come to AMPS? Why the Andy Goldens and all these guys don't come to AMPS? That's the reason why. Straight up. You want to know why good modelers from other countries don't come to your international show? That's the reason why. Because you don't offer them anything if they're competitive. And it's a competition, right? Like, that's what it's supposed to be. But why would you go there? You're not earning anything that like, again, can build an out-of-box Tamiya kit and get the same freaking score as you. They're not the same thing. Like, they're just not. And which one do you want? Because they talk about like, oh, we want, all this, but then you just like, oh, here. It's like Oprah handing out like effing cars. It's like, oh, you get a car. Like, oh, you get a gold medal. It irritates the shit out of me so much. Sorry, I've been sitting on that for like weeks, so I just had to get it all out there.
So Scott, the time is no. Right, so I agree. The thing, I do agree. I can't even say I don't, because I went to AMPs kind of blind, never been to an AMP. I had no idea what to expect. I was like, oh, maybe it's going to be really hard to kind of medal here. Maybe I'm thinking like SMC level difficult to get a medal. And then I took part in judging. I was like, oh, everyone gets a medal. That makes it feel really less special now when I do get a medal. And I did. I got 3. But after being part of the judging, I was like, it feels a little less earned, because, Scott, you were there. I think, TJ, you were there at the time. During we were all sat around judging, big announcement in the judges' rooms. Guys, don't want to see any numbers lower than this. It's like, so you're already telling us the minimum number we can score this is like 26 or something. It's like, so, yeah, didn't I like that? I was just like, oh, right. So you've already give us the base number to give it by default, because you don't want to upset anyone by giving them a number lower than set number. That's not how, at least our table, we were like, we're going to ignore that. We're not doing that. Like, I'm sorry, like that, we'll just walk away from judging if you're going to tell us the baseline score. We have to give it to save someone's feelings. I won't be a part of judging if it's anything like that. So yeah, after the whole show, I was like, I loved it. Loved the traders, vendors, loved the venue, loved everything about it really. But that part of it, the whole judging and getting the award, and I was just like, especially the award ceremony at the end, cool and everything. But I was just like, oh, everyone who's sat in here got a medal. That feels a lot more participation than earned. And it really took the shine off it afterwards. But yeah, that's just my kind of 2 cents. I completely see and agree with what you're saying.
So I've actually never been to an AMP show, unfortunately. I would like to go, but I kind of want to delve into this a little bit from someone on the outside. So TJ, you mentioned that too. I mean, I understand the AMPs is almost like a checklist where you're getting points for each of these kind of like subcategories in the finish. And you said that, to get full points in the advanced category, you should have use of advanced techniques, maybe modifying the kit. So is the issue that judges are assigning those points even if the model is not, like, I'd say worthy, as in like it hasn't used advanced techniques or modified the kit or anyway? Or is the penalty of not doing that so minimum that it's not affecting getting a gold? Like, the issue?
Well, yeah, like,
I'm just trying to figure out, like, how could you solve this? Would you be like assigning weighing more points towards certain aspects, or maybe moving like the level up that points needed for a gold? Like, I'm trying to figure this out.
Well, part of my biggest issue with it is I don't like any kind of points based judging system, because the points they're arbitrary, right? Like, it doesn't make, to me, it's kind of worthless when you assign points to something, because if you meet the bare minimum, then yeah, I guess you can assign full points or whatever. But
bare minimum should be full points.
Well, yeah, that's really the way they look at it. Like, because you get, what is it, like, I can't remember off the top of my head. It's like all the construction stuff is built into, like, you get like 5 points to play with, right? Or maybe, I think it's 5 points, and then you had like 4.5 points for weathering. So like, if you're looking at like, think like in the build, like, are all the road wheels, the suspension square? yes, then you get full points, right? Like, okay. But that, to me, that's just, I don't know. It's just dumb. I don't even really know. I don't really know how to, other than like, if you look at their guidance, right? So like to be an advanced, modelers with highly developed skills whose entries are heavily reworked, actualized, or include non-commercial parts or modifications. The evaluations of this class are more strenuous. But they're not. Like, they're just not. I've seen it. Like, I've heard it. I've been there. I've judged. I judge stuff more harshly when I judge, because you know what you're looking at when you get the sheet. It says like, oh, this is an advanced model. But like Jensen and Scott said, like, when you have an ACJ just saying, well, don't give less than a 6. Well, then you're not actually like following the advice that your own literature give you. And then it says, an advanced modeler does all the things expected of an intermediate level modeler, plus some or all of the following: scratch builds using references, cast own replacement parts. In my opinion, this would be like designing and 3D printing your own parts nowadays. Obviously, when this was made, that didn't exist. Builds or paints at a high skill level, presents models on an elaborate basis, sometimes with accompanying information, uses materials and space artistically. You can just throw all that away because you don't have to do any of that and still get a perfect score in advance. And I keep going back to stuff that I saw last year where, again, out of box Tamiya kit on a base 4 times too big for it. The model's not finished artistically. It's literally one color, barely highlighted, a really bad pen wash put on it, and then weathering of like pigments all over it. That doesn't follow any of this. That's not using materials or space artistically, because anyone that knows anything about diorama or just any presentation building knows you don't put a tank on a base that's 4 times too big for it because it looks dumb. It doesn't make any sense. I'm not even a dioramist and I know that. Like, that's just basic composition that your eyeballs can look at. That's not elaborate. It was some road with like crappy looking static grass. That's not elaborate. Like, but that can get full points and get a perfect score when like other people that actually do more than that get the same freaking score. It doesn't compute in my head. And yeah, this whole expert level, it's just more of this. This is going to be the same stuff.
Suddenly TJ's blacklisted from ever attending an AMP-SNATS ever again.
That's fine. Hey, you know what?
More gold medals for TJ.
Hey, you know what? This has been brought up before. We've talked about it. I don't know if we've ever talked about it on the podcast, but yeah, there's a lot of that goes on at AMPS. Absolutely. People get better scores than they deserve because they know the judges know who they are. People get best ofs because the ACJs know who they are. People get best in shows because the ACJs know who they are and they push for it. So yeah, that probably will happen to me, and that's fine because I feel like it already probably does. And some of that is because when you get judges that don't know what they're looking at, look at something that's really good, they don't know what to do. But when they look at something that they can do, they're like, oh, this is fantastic. I need to give this a perfect score. So, I mean, I'm not the only person this has happened to. You can talk to lots of other people. Really good work, which I feel like I bring to AMPS, is treated differently than mid work when you have unqualified mid-level judges judging work that they don't understand. As pretentious as that sounds, I mean, that's kind of what it is. Everyone's at different points in their hobby journey, and you get a guy that's at a much earlier point than someone else, and they're supposed to look at their work, and they don't even know how to do that or why they did it. You don't even necessarily know how to do it, but you should be able to know why someone did something, right? Like, we've mentioned this before, like to be a critic, you don't have to do what that person does to that same level, like any kind of art critic or movie critic, but you need to understand why you do the things that you do, right? Like, a movie critic doesn't have to be as good a filmmaker as the best filmmaker in the world, but they understand the art of filmmaking and what makes a good film. That's the same thing when you judge scale models. You don't have to be able to do, a Calvin Tan figure or a night shift model to understand what you need to do to get those things and how to apply all those skills. But when you have people that don't even know that and they're just looking at random stuff and like, yep, looks good. 30, 29.5. This is awesome. Like, that's not whatever. I'm sure I'm not going to be invited to AMPS next year. So that's going to be fun.
I get it, though. Yeah.
But
I can't disagree.
At the end of the day, I still like AMPS. I still like AMPS. I still think they're a better system. I still have a good time. Competition-wise, it doesn't scratch my itch. I still go. I still compete because I feel like to support a show, you should bring models to enter in that show. And I will continue to do that for as long as I'm allowed. And I will continue to host be the president of my AMPS chapter for as long as I get voted to be the president, and I will still enjoy all of that, even though I think their judging system is dumb. It's still better than numerous alternatives. It's just not as good as it could be.
All right, I'm canceling my plan to go to AMPS next year.
No, you still should. It's great. It's a fun time.
It's a great social.
Just like everyone else, I think we're all going to shows first to meet our friends, second of all to see our friends work, third of all to buy cool stuff, and then fourth of all is to participate in the competition, right? Mm-hmm. Social aspect that we enjoy around the shows more than
yes, absolutely. Awards. And I still would encourage anyone to go to AMPS, any AMPS show. I've been to small shows up through the Nats. They're all fun. They're all good. And there's nothing, it's fun. Entering competitions is fun. So yeah. And chances are if you go to AMPS, you're probably going to go with the gold medal anyways. Might as well just go. If you want a gold medal, just go get a gold medal. They just hand them out.
I'll bring my P40 from 7 years ago and see how it does.
Dead ass, that thing would get a gold. It will, 100%. Merry Christmas, everybody. It's Festivus. That was the area of grievances. We were celebrating Festivus on this podcast a little
That was
early.
like the uncle at the dinner table, oh, he's going to start speaking soon. Oh, he started.
Oh no, our uncle had one too many beers and someone brought up politics. Okay. Sorry, Scott.
Hopefully Neil doesn't show up at your doorstep.
No, but hey, look, I will give them this. They finally did. They made a really good change that I 100% agree with, and I lobbied for in the working groups. They're doing away with this. If the hatch is open, it's an open top vehicle rule. Oh. I hate that. It's so dumb. And of course, this year or next year, I'm bringing a vehicle with an open hatch that I scratch built a whole interior for after endlessly about how stupid that rule is.
Hosted by your own petard.
Again, I applaud them for that. They listened. I'm not the only person that had that issue. And me and Pat Brown have argued about it too. And I'm sorry, Pat, I'm right. Kits don't have interiors. And you shouldn't be punished for something the kit doesn't have, right? You should judge what you put on the table. And on top of that, a lot of tanks look cooler with open hatches. I think I've mentioned that on the podcast before. It is aesthetically more pleasing to have a commander's hatch open, even if there's not anything on the inside. And the other, just put a figure in it. Well, what if I don't want a figure in it? Or what if it's, as I mentioned before, where I got burned, well, I fixed it because I put a tarp over it, but the whole point isn't the inside. I want you to look at the outside, but the picture I built it off of, the hatch was open. Okay, well, I have a picture of it with the hatch closed too, but I didn't build it that way. I built it with the hatch open. So yeah, I'm glad they did away with that. That one I do like, even though it won't really affect me next year because I don't think I'm bringing anything with an open hatch and no interior. So whatever.
Well, and I'll give Neil credit too. I think Neil is really trying to improve.
Oh, things. Absolutely.
He's been way more willing than past leadership to say, let's question what we're doing and why, and let's see about making some of these changes. So I think you got to give him mad respect for that.
I do. I like Neil a lot. I feel like, despite the fact that I don't like this whole expert thing, that doesn't change the fact that I still do like AMPS, and I applaud Neil and the rest of the e-board for taking the initiative and actually listening to the members. Unlike, I don't know, IPMS, which does not listen to the members and just does whatever they want to do. Feelings be damned. So I do endless credit to Neil and everyone at AMPS and in the working group, even though I don't agree with all of them, they stepped up, and when we're asked, they did what was asked of them. So, just like anything else, you don't get everything that you want. That's just the way it works. Then AMPS may not give me everything that I personally want, but that doesn't mean they, weren't trying or that they didn't listen, because not everything that, we had a number of things that were voted on with our working groups that then were forwarded to the e-board. And we took a poll on all the various changes amongst ourselves. Hey, which one of these do we want to present? And, some of the stuff I voted, yeah, we should present this, didn't get chosen. Some of it did. So, and just vice versa. There's some stuff that guys didn't like that, got pushed through the open hatch thing. So yeah, that's all. Hopefully I'm still welcome there.
Lay down on this couch and tell us how that makes you feel. Right? TJ's been sitting on that for a while, I think. So.
Yeah. I am an AMPS member, but I haven't been to an AMPS show since God knows when. It just seems, I like the idea that they are listening to their boards and their people, which is a fantastic idea. That is very important. The open hatch thing, I never understood that. I don't, and I'm glad they've changed that. That's a great thing. I don't understand the concept of the new rule. I guess maybe it's my fault for being ignorant to it as much as I am, but it doesn't make sense that you add a category and a medal and you just take away bronzes, but I'll just go with that.